In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Professor's channel. So today we have a very interesting show for you. And certainly I want all of you to get engaged. So if you are getting ready to go back home from work, it's about 6 o'clock in the East Coast, 3 o'clock in the West Coast, where I am in Seattle. I'm in my studio. So today I'm going to have a very special guest, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this gentleman. His name is Kerson Raymond. He's of Haitian background. He and I went to high school together many decades ago. And of course, after high school, you know how it goes. People go to their different ways. And I went to college. You went to college in a different state. We, we talked to each other sometime, but we just got reconnected not so long ago. A few years back, we started to talk. And then he just published an amazing book. I actually bought the book from Amazon, and I read the book. It's about relationship, and if you haven't gotten a copy of the book, I suggest that you do. Before the end of the show, we're going to give you a link where you can buy the book. I think the book is only about $20, but it's an interesting book, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit about the book, why he wrote the book. And some of the statement in the book are very interesting. This is kind of from a different angle. You know, there's been so many books written about relationship between men and women, but I think this book is interesting for a very particular reason. And I will let the author talk about it a little more. So I'm trying to make this channel as interesting for you as possible. Certainly, I know many of you have different interests. I do investigation in crypto fraud. I try to bring people to this platform that you can learn something from, so we can get this conversation going. So we're going to talk about this book. The title of the book is Know Your Role, Play Your Position in Your Relationship, a guide to better relationships and better sex. So we're going to talk about sex. This is a topic that I think everyone wants to talk about. Sex is a topic where everybody's always interested to talk about it. It's what life is about, basically. So thank you for joining us. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I suggest that you do. Don't forget to like the channel, because once I do have something new, you will get notifications when you become a subscriber. So do not forget to click the subscribe button. And of course, please do refer the channel to your friends and family members. And because I think this channel, I think, brings content that you certainly can use. So I'm going to take a very quick 1-minute break. And then when I come back, I will bring to the stage my friend, my high school mate, Kerson Raymond, the author of Know Your Role, Play Your Position in Your Relationship. This is going to be great, because when we talk about role and relationship, I don't know if there's a role for men, if there's a role for women, but we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about it. So I'm going to be right back in 1 minute.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. we pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys, we're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to the professor. And today, as I promised you, we have my friend, my high school friend, Raymond, Kerson, who just published a very, very interesting book that I earlier showed to you. It's Know Your Role and Play Your Position in Your Relationship. So, Kerson, welcome to the professor. Certainly, you know that I love books. I have a whole library behind me. I love to read. So obviously, you and I, we are not stranger to each other. We went to high school together, and that was so many years ago.
That is correct.
And of course, I was looking at my yearbook yesterday as I was thinking about this interview, and of course, our picture, the gentlemen, the partners. So we did have a lot of fun in high school. But when I look at it, and it was almost a century ago, even though it wasn't that long.
Right.
So I am very, very, very proud of you because you've done a lot since that time. You've accomplished a lot, and it's such a pleasure for me to be able to have this platform and to be able to bring you in this platform as someone that I went to high school with, who actually accomplished such a great hit. So I'm very, very happy to have you. So tell the viewers about you. Who is Kerson Raymond?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to you for giving me the platform to kind of like spread the news about this book, and to your listeners as well. I welcome you, and I thank you for lending me your listening ears today to talk about this book. So as Roy mentioned, the professor mentioned, my name is Kerson Raymond. Yes, we went to high school. We went to Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
Yeah, the good old
Erasmus in the house.
Yes, sir. So yeah, yeah, we went to high school together. We graduated, and we all went to our separate ways to college, and did everything that every great man with a great background do. We we stand firm, and came up with he came up with the show. I came up with this book, and now we collaborating them together. So I thank you for giving me the platform.
No, absolutely. I am very, very happy to have you here today. So we're going to talk about this book, and I know that I have so many questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to other people who's watching the show now who've had so many questions, men and women, especially in the Haitian community. We have so many questions. So before we start diving into it, I realized that in your book, nowhere did you consider the cultural differences, what we call Haitian American versus Black American versus white American, the way we see love, the way we see sex from a cultural point of view. Now, we're going to go back to that later on.
Right.
But tell us, why did you write this book? I mean, it's a great book. Don't get me wrong. I love the book, but why did you write it?
I wrote this book back in 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
This book was supposed to come out then. I got involved into this restaurant lounge business that kind of pretty much took all my time. I didn't have time to seek a way to get it published. It's been sitting in my inbox, in my hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And another powerhouse name Steve Harvey came out with think like a man. Yeah. So he came out with that.
Men act like a woman. I think like a woman act like a man.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't release my book yet because I can't fight against such a powerful name. So I kind of headed back. I held the book back for a little bit. Then I sold the restaurant in 2010.
Right.
Moved back this way, and I've been looking into releasing it ever since. And that's the book. I wrote the book because I grew up in a family full of people,
Mm-hmm.
mostly women.
Right.
So there was a lot of emotional outbursts going on in the house. So therefore,
Mhm.
as the man, I had to be a mediator between cousins and boyfriend, sisters and boyfriend, cousin, male cousins and girlfriends. So I was right there in the midst of it. So,
Mhm.
and not only that, when I got into the restaurant and the lounge business, I hear stories. I mean,
Mhm.
I heard stories that I actually put them in some of the books. Many people helped me realize this book because it's a bunch. It's my experience, my acquaintances, uh,
Mhm.
my memoir mix up with acquaintances and people that I've met along the way that I get to interview them and they get to tell me, divulge to me all the personal stuff, and it's right there in the book.
So, in other words, this book is sort of an amalgamations of life story or experience. But when to write a book about sex and relationship, you have to be someone who have a lot of experiences. Obviously, sometimes someone who's been in a long-term relationship and they understand the ups and downs
Right.
of relationship. Now, the book when I read the book about a few weeks ago when I first bought it from Amazon,
Hmm.
and the introduction of the book, and actually page 7, the first thing you said, mind, love, and sex. Why in that order?
Because your mind has to process things, right? Before you can love somebody, your mind has to process that person. Your mind, that's the first thing that process anything you're doing in your life. Your
Hmm.
eyes see it, your mind processes it. Oh, he's a good looking man, or she's a hot looking babe. Your
Hmm.
mind processes it. Your mind download it to your heart, making you allow you to love that person. Then that's when sex comes
So
about.
in other words, you were saying that you don't get to sex before your mind can conceive this is a partner, somebody that I want to be with, and then the mind leads to love, and love leads to sex.
You can get to that. That happened a lot. And if it happened in that order, it's either you had some issues within the relationship, because you cannot have sex then hoping that person love you and for your mind to go crazy.
Oh, that's a very interesting concept, right?
Right.
So, in other words, well, this is our generation. When we were in our teen back in the 1980s, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media, we don't even have cell phone at the time. So our understanding of love and sex was somewhat different. We were a little bit more reserved. But the new generation now, the Gen Z generation,
Hmm.
the generation of the 2000, their understanding of love and sex is somewhat different. I hear people talking about, "Oh, let's go smash." I mean, the first time I heard it, I didn't even know what the hell they were talking about until my son explained it to me what it was. So, of course, it's that the what we call the generational divide. So, how do we account for that? Does that the same thing work for the new generation? Your
It
mind can
does.
conceive it, and then you can love, and then you can have sex.
Yeah, it does. Because when you really process something, when you really see something, the first thing that happen is your mind sees it, your mind processes it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And for you to be able to know, oh, I can see myself with that person. That's when you can see your mind allow you to process it to say, I can be with that person. That's when you start thinking about, oh, I can love that person. You know what I mean?
In
So
a natural relationship, but there are people. For example, when people have one night stand, that's not mine in love and
no,
sex.
that's something different. That's lust, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That falls under lust. But you could very well have a one night stand and ended up having a long term relationship. It happens. It happens very very little,
Hmm.
but it doesn't. That's not the ideal way for you to know you're gonna have a strong relationship to a one night stand.
Now you talk about how it's easier for women to get a date than it is for men, and I
Absolutely.
I disagree with you.
No, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I don't think it's easier for women to get dates. I think well, first of all, let me allow you to explain to the viewers, why do you think it's easier for women to have a date than for men to have a date?
It's because the women, they don't have to be looking for a date. They've asked for a date by men. Men always looking. Men are always looking. So therefore, there, first of all, statistically, there are a lot more men than women.
There
There are
are
a
a
lot
lot
more
more. There
women.
are a lot more
A lot more
women than men.
women than men on
And
earth.
men, yes. But
Exactly.
are there more men looking for dates than there are women looking for dates? Because it looks to me that there are a lot of women out there who are looking for a partner. I mean, it may not be the ideal partner, but they're looking.
No, there are a lot more men looking for a date. Women are not looking for a date. They're looking for a partner. You're right about that. But before you get to a partner, you have to date somebody. So a woman doesn't have to be looking. She's gonna be asked by 13 men, "Can I go on a date with you?" Whereas a man, you can you find two women to ask you on a date? It's very seldom. Very seldom.
Yeah, I can see that. I can't remember two women actually on a date, so I can agree with that. I think naturally women wants to be pursued, so I totally get that.
Right.
But I think what we're talking about now, I'm talking about 2024.
Right.
It's a whole different world out there now. I mean, I don't think women now are waiting for men to ask them out. I think the new generation are not doing that. Our generation did when we were in high school. You know, we pursued the
Right.
ladies. We were the one who went out and asked them on a date. But you know, my children who are in their 20s, they're not doing that. Girls are just going to guys and ask them out.
No, it's a different era. With technology. You get it's a totally different beast. Before, it used to be a traditional type of thing. It's the man that asks, it's the man that caught the woman, it's the man that opens the door. Now it's different. It's totally different. I'm seeing certain things that I never thought that I'd be seeing during my lifetime. I mean, with technology nowadays, I mean, can you imagine now? You don't even have to go to a movie with somebody. You can pretty much go online and you guys watch the movie in two different places. She can be in China and I'm in Haiti, and we are lovers.
Exactly. I mean, of course,
So it's
technology allow people to do things that they otherwise couldn't do before. Now, in your book, you talk about why do people date. I
right.
think it's most women. I mean, I know some women who just really looking to just go out and have a good time. They're not looking for a serious relationship. They're not looking to settle down with anyone. They kind of just want to go out, have
Right.
sex, have fun, and keep it moving. I mean, is that a bad thing
Right.
for
No, you're
women?
right. And there are different no, there are different reasons why people go on dates. There are people who just want to be out to just having a conversation with somebody. There are people who are really looking for a soulmate. There are those who just want a hot meal. There are those who just want to go out there and shop for a man, and if they like this one, then that's the one they take home. Many reasons, many motives for people to go on dates. But you won't know until you sit down and start talking to that person.
Hmm, hmm.
And even though you sit down and talk with that person, they may tell you everything you want to hear, but there's an ulterior motives why they are really on a date.
Now, I know
So
in
it's
your
a
book,
lot.
you have some special advice for women, and it seemed like your advice is kind of very conservative. You want to play your role. You want to be a lady all the time. You want to be reserved. You don't want to give the cookie too fast. You want to take your time. You want to make sure that the person you're giving the cookie with, there's potentiality there. There's potential for a relationship. But
Right.
the issue that I'm having is that those advice are good, and I'm looking at the field, the reality of every day, and I'm wondering, are we talking to the new generation or are we talking to the old generation? I read the
Well,
book and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, listen, I know when we were growing up, for example, when we were in high school, right? You remember
mhm,
that. Our parents tell us you go to school, you graduate high school, you go to college, then you find a respectable, nice young lady,
traditional,
preferably of Haitian background,
traditional, yeah.
preferably a black woman, preferably a Haitian, get married, take care of your family, have children, and that's it. That used to be the thing that we were told when you and I were in high school, were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The new generation now, that's not what they're being told. I'm not telling my children that they need to, if they want to go to college, God bless them, they go to college. If they want to get married, they get married. But the new generation are saying, no, we're going to do things our way. We want to do what we want to do. We just want to have fun. We don't care about that. So, is the advice for the old generation, for people our age and mid 50s? Because I don't know if the new generation, the
I,
20s, are
no,
listening.
the advice is pretty much across the board. It's whoever wants to take the advice and channel it in, in their own ways.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. Back then, the time you're talking about, we were relying on observing
Right.
our older brother or our dad or our uncle, how they go about talking to women, how they go about treating women. That's how we go about now. It's all over the internet. That's
Mhm.
why the kids nowadays think they know more than you and I, and not knowing that we've been through what they're going through right now. Even if you want to tell them, they're thinking some influencer who has 13 million viewers, followers, is more knowledgeable than you and I. So
Mhm.
it's tough. It's a tough cookie. It's one of those things. It's like you can tell them. I write the book. I'm hoping everybody takes some advice from the book. I'm not saying verbatim that's how your
Mhm.
life is going to be. Yeah, I'm just saying these are the things that are out there. So if you come to face that, if you go on a date, make sure you have money with you, because you don't know if this guy is gonna meet you and like you, or meet you and say, I'm going to the bathroom, and he slipped to the back door, he's gone. What do you do now? Like, you stuck with a bill for $300. So make sure you have money in your pocket, because I've seen it. And he could be, you on a
Mhm.
date with him and you don't know if he's married, and as he's on a date, his wife walked to the door. What do? He get up and go in with his wife, and you stuck with a bill for $400. So make sure you always have money in your pocket. That way you can handle yourself.
You can handle yourself. Now, you talk in the book about how women sometimes look for the wrong characteristic in men.
Hmm.
Now, let's talk about this for a minute, because I think that's very important. What
Hmm.
do you mean by women looking for one characteristic in men?
Because a lot of women can meet the janitor and
Mhm.
meet the Uber driver,
Right.
nice guy, but that's not the person she envisioned herself with.
Hmm.
She wants to be with Brad Pitt and Shemar Moore. Like, that's who she wants. She
Hmm.
wants the guy who's six feet. That's
Hmm.
what she always wanted. That's what she needed. She want the guy who's making $150,000. That's
Hmm.
what she wanted. She doesn't want the guy who's making $45,000, who's a janitor at this school, or who's an Uber driver. But you don't know if this guy is driving Uber because he's trying to come up with some money to do something else. But
Hmm.
the characteristics that you're looking for, you're already prejudging that person. That didn't, make you ask the person a question. Just have a conversation. Don't think because you high maintenance. Just it goes vice versa as well. It goes that for men as well. Men do the same thing. They're not looking for short women. They're looking for, somebody with a nice rump. It
Hmm.
doesn't go that way. Maybe the nerd is at the library, is the one that's gonna, rock your world. So you have to be open when it
Hmm.
comes to that. Don't look for, because you say you're looking for somebody that's 6 feet, $150,000. You know how many people are making $150,000 that are 6 feet, and don't you think every woman is looking for the same thing? So
So, are
that's
you
why.
saying that sometimes women need to be more realistic in terms of the choice of partners?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. I remember my uncle used to say, "Don't look at women, just listen to what's coming out of their mouth."
Hmm.
So don't look at characteristics. Just have a conversation to see how smart that person is, and that's how you used to determine who should I talk to, who should. But back then you were young, you didn't care. But now that you are at the time when you want to talk to somebody, you want to have a conversation. You're not gonna want to look at somebody and says, because she has a nice swap, that's who I want to be with.
Hmm.
Why you have to ask yourself that question in the first place? Why is she single?
Well,
Why is
because
she why
she's
is she by herself?
maybe she's
Why
high
is she
maintenance. maybe no man wants to deal with her. Maybe she's a pain in the bottom. I don't know, in the back. I mean,
So
backside. No.
it's that's when you have to do your investigation as a man, as a woman. You have a conversation first before you can judge, before you can make an assumption.
But is
You
that
have,
enough though? Because women go on a date sometime and they
Mhm.
complain why the man isn't calling back, or he didn't call me back, or I thought we had a good time. And maybe something came up during the conversation that he said, man, this woman is crazy. I have to stay the hell away from her.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's your delivery, how you speak, because you could be beautiful, and he's thinking like, okay, this is, or she can think this man is handsome. I'm gonna go. But if every time you, ever since you walk into the place, you sit down, and you're talking nothing about gang stuff, or you throwing gang sign, and everything is a curse word, you can't hold on a conversation. You think she's gonna want to take you as this to introduce you to her friends
Well,
who
it
are
depends. Maybe if she's into that, if she's in that kind of
if
personality, maybe
that's her thing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
They are
that's her
people
thing.
like that, right?
Eh, That's her thing. If that's her thing, then that's what it is. I can't tell you who she's gonna want, who he's gonna want. You just have to make sure you investigate, you talk, you speak, go on a date, and open up a conversation just to see if that person is compatible.
I mean, compatibility is very important
It's
when it
key.
comes
It's key. And besides that too, there's something most people don't understand. They think about, that person like me, I like that person, but there's something more important than that. It's the energy that you share with that person.
to.
Energy is key. That's the second book I'm gonna be writing is talk about sex and energy, because every time you have sex with somebody, you share energy with that person. So it's
Share
gonna
your
be
energy. Yeah, part of you go with that person, right?
exactly. So it's sex, energy, and synergy. Synergy is the combination of the two to see
Mhm.
how they affect you as a person.
Oh, this is great. This is great. We're gonna take a 1 minute break, and we will be right back with author Kerson Raymond with his new book, "Know Your Role, Play Your Position in Your Relationship." When we come back, we'll talk about you know women that are really expensive to maintain for men. We'll be right back.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
Welcome back. Now, women. One of the things I think you mentioned in your book. Let's talk about high maintenance women. Okay,
Mhm.
there are women out there who actually think and believe that it is a man's responsibility to take care of them, whether they can make their own money, whether they're working or not working, whether they can afford to do it. What I find amazing is that some women want things that they couldn't afford for themselves, but they want a man to pay for it. Now, I'm going to play a video from a comment from a TikTok content producers, and I want you to listen to this and let's comment on it after. Let me play the video.
Okay.
Dating, would I need to pay for your hair and your nails?
And here we go.
Honestly, yeah.
And let's hear why they think that.
Gives you that mentality.
I mean, like, if you want me to look good, then you gotta pay for it.
But I'm sure many of us have asked ourselves this next question.
But if you were doing it before I came into your life, why do I have to start doing that now that I'm your man?
I would say because you would want me to look good, so you would want me to do those things.
So basically they're saying if the guy doesn't pay for it, that means they're not going to do their hair and their nails anymore. And it'll be the guy's fault if they don't look good because they weren't doing it for themselves in the first place. Right?
How much do your nails cost?
Probably like anywhere between 60 to 80. Like every 3 weeks.
And hair?
Depending on the hair, sometimes $90, sometimes $1,000.
Wait, how much? What exactly are they doing to one's hair that it costs $1,000?
Why would it cost $1,000 to get your hair done?
If you get like extensions, if you get treatments put in your hair, like, I don't know. I like to have nice hair, so.
The price of vanity.
Is there ever a time where you would pay for your man's haircut or?
No. No. No, I'm not paying for his haircut.
And that's because?
That's a man's job.
Is anyone else?
Now, you heard what she said. And this woman is probably in her late 20s, right? You heard what she said. In other words, she was paying for her hair, she was paying for her nails, and she gets into a relationship. Now she wants the man to pay. And she said, look, it is the man's job to pay for me to look good. So how can women expect to be in a serious relationship with a man when they believe that it is okay for the men to pay for things that they normally would pay for themselves for?
Because some men actually pay for it. And that's the problem, is because she's shooting her shot. She's shooting her shot. You can throw mud to this wall, see what sticks. If it sticks, hey, you have mud in the wall. So you have a lot of guys out there that's probably gonna pay for the hair for her. You know, okay. You never seen women going on date every weekend, every day. They post a picture of an expensive restaurant. You know
Right.
what? You know what those are? Dates, different dates. They can't. They're not gonna do it. If you want to take me on a date, we're gonna go to this restaurant, and I'm gonna show to my friends that I'm living lavishly. So it's the same. It's the same thing with the hair. So if she's shooting her shot, she's at. But here's the thing: if you do it one time as a man, if you said, "Okay, I'll pay for your hair," you're gonna have to keep doing it forever, because if you don't, out the door you go. She's gonna find another guy who can pay for the hair, who can pay for the nails. Which, I mean, this nowadays, it's tough, and I can guarantee you, most people. I don't wanna. I hate to prejudge people. Most people that think that way didn't grow up with a good role model of a mom or dad, so they lost that in translation. As a young girl at 20 years old, if you want a man to pay for these things for you, it's tough, and that's those type of girls. They end up having on, I think it's called OnlyFans or Fans Only, whatever it's called.
And only for, yeah.
Yeah. So they end up doing that, because if there's no man that wants to do that, the only way to make a man pay for their hair is you do a page where OnlyFans, where guys can go and they don't have. There's no more brothels anymore. There's no more titty bars anymore. There's no more nude bars anymore. OnlyFans is the way people do things, and you have teachers doing that. You have doctors doing that. You have married women, like good women, that who has OnlyFans page that their husband never knew about, and they're making tons of money. You have a teacher that made the most money she ever made in a year. She made over $1 million in OnlyFans,
Yeah.
where she was a teacher for 5 years. She didn't make close to that money. So it has a lot to do with your upbringing. What you see is what you see. This is the product of what you grew up with, the environment, the circumstance that you grew up with, and this is what you're gonna get. The apple never fall from the tree, brother.
So, in other words, what you are saying is of course, there are women who actually believe that's how a relationship should be.
Absolutely.
But in your experience, right? What is the basis for a healthy, good relationship between a man and a woman? Because once you base a relationship on money, that relationship would never last.
Absolutely.
Because the person comes into the relationship with certain expectation that you're going to be doing certain things. And as long as you continue doing that, the relationship is fine. But once you stop, that's the end of the relationship. That's not love.
Absolutely. So it really varies on where you are in life. So a good relationship, yeah, you want to be respected, you want to be loved, you want to be cared for, meaning that, let's go out, on Fridays, let's do certain things. You want to be cared for, you want to be respected, you want loyalty within your relationship. Those are the things that will make you have a very healthy relationship. So if you don't have these things, depending on where you are in life, you maybe just a phone call, maybe just taking you out on dinner here and there might be healthy for you. It all depends on what kind of relationship you're seeking. Me, you, and everybody else, we all different. We all have different imprints. So everybody is different in their own way. So I think there are certain things you probably looking for in a relationship. I would think that's a deal breaker for me. Certain things I'm
Mhm.
looking for, it might be a deal breaker for you. So it all depends on who you are, but there are certain things that you want. Otherwise, why go into a relationship if you can't get respect, if you can't get loyalty, if you can't get love? It's There's no reason for you to go in that relationship, because those are the type of things that will make you happy. Happiness come from a lot of those. Sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot to be happy. You just have a man that respect you, that care for you, that loves you. That's it. You are the happiest person on earth. You don't need money. You don't need to be lavish and go to Dubai and do all these things. Just here with your husband, with your boyfriend, you're doing things that are productive, that will give secure your future for tomorrow. If you guys are young, you guys are saving to buy a house, that's happiness. Because you have a goal, you have something you working towards. You know what I mean? So everybody is different in their own ways as far as relationship goes.
Well, I mean, that's very true though, because when people think about relationship, they think, well, maybe, I need somebody, especially from a woman point of view. And some men are like that too. I need somebody who could buy me this. I need somebody who could buy me that nice car. I need someone who can take me to that lavish vacation. I need somebody who can do this for me and do that for me. But that has nothing to do with love though, because isn't love sacrifices? Even isn't that what that is?
It's funny you say that, because I saw a sketch one time. This lady said, I need all these things you mentioned. I need a man who can do this. I need a man to give me money. I need a man to give me a car, to buy me a beautiful house. And the man responded, "It's like, sounds like you need a daddy." so, so, in a way, to say like you need a father, because that your dad is supposed to be doing those things for you. Yes, as a man, you're supposed to do those things for your mate, for your woman, for your wife. You're supposed to take care of them. You're supposed to treat them. You're supposed to maintain them. You're supposed to give them whatever they want in life, because that's love. That's you showing love and respect. You want to make your wife, your girlfriend, your side chicks, whatever it is, you want to make that person happy. It's not a question of the person deserve it, demand it. It's up to you as a
Mhm.
woman or as a man to say, I'm gonna treat my husband to buy him a car, or I'm gonna take him to a shop where he can get all the cigars he want in the world. That's because you want to do it. Nobody is forcing you to do it. You don't have to do it. You know what I mean? You don't
In
have
other
to
words,
do it.
this is not something. This is because you talk to young people, and I've heard that a lot. I've heard women said, "Well, I like when my boyfriend pay for my hair. It makes me feel better." Now, if that's not maybe there's some truth to it, that know that this person cares about you enough to want to pay for your hair.
No, there is some truth to it, and sometimes when a woman want a man to do something for her, it's because she wants to feel belonged. She wants to know, like, okay, that's my man. He paid for my hair, type of thing. But if you
Mhm.
really want respect, if you really want to do, you do your own thing. And the man, if you'll be surprised if you never ask the man to pay for your hair, and one day he's gonna be calling you, what you doing? I'm at the studio. I'm about to go over there right now. He might pay for your hair before you even know he paid for it, without even you knowing.
Mhm.
So you have to understand, if you keep asking me to pay for your hair, whenever you tell me studio, I'm out, because I'm not paying for it.
Mhm.
That's not what that's not what I've been put on earth to do, to pay for your hair. Besides, wear your hair natural. It's beautiful. I like natural.
Here's what I believe. I've always thought that a relationship should really base on true love. I care for you as a human being. I love you. You're a part of me. And of course, if you have some issues, you have problem, and I can help you, I will help you, especially if we're married or if we're dating. But the idea of saying, I'm not going to date that person because he's not a lawyer. I'm not going to date that person because he's not a doctor. I'm not going to date that person because he's not making that six figure. To me, that's very unrealistic. And a lot of women actually look at life that way. They think that is love, but
That's
that is
that's
not love.
being that's being
Not
a gold
according to
digger.
what you're saying.
No, that's being a gold digger. The gold digger, that's what you do. You go after certain things. And here's the problem, and that's what I spoke about in the book. You spend all the time looking for that person, looking for Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt never comes. Now you 45, 50. time is running out on you, and now you going crazy, and you end up settling for a lesser than you ever thought of yourself being with. It goes for men as well. Some men do the same thing. Now it's almost like,
Wait. Let's go back for a minute, because there are some people who will disagree with you. I will
with
disagree
what?
with you, and I'll tell you what. I think that as men get older, their value increase. As women that get older, their value decrease, because when a woman past 35, I mean, your childbearing years are gone. I mean, I don't know what men can you command. I mean, let's think about it. I mean,
No,
the most value a woman has is between the age of 18 and really 28, 30. I mean, I believe
yeah,
that.
but Professor. That's being. I don't want to judge that way, because I don't want to be chauvinistic. I don't want to go that route. Here's the thing: you can actually find. You never heard the older the wine, or the older the
Mhm.
liquor, the better. Okay,
Oh,
so
yes, of
therefore
course.
you could be looking for 30, 35, 40 years old. You say that's their prime, and they could be in their 50s, 60s. To some men, that's prime. I understand what you're saying if you want a childbearing woman, but I get that. But the headaches you're gonna deal with a 30-year-old and a 45-year-old, you won't deal with that headache with a 50 or 60-year. I'm not saying we should all go for that, but everybody's different. You might find women that reach a certain point in time when they're like, okay, I'm 50 years old, that's it. But some women reach 50, that's their prime. They take
But yeah,
off.
but let's look at the statistic, Kerson. Look at the
Hmm.
statistic. The statistic shows that older women
Hmm.
find it hard to get a mate. This is not something
No,
that
you're right.
we've
You're
known
right.
this for a very long time. Because why? The people that are on the men that are in their 50s, 55, 56, 57, which is kind of the time when the potential for earning is highest for men when they get to that age.
Yes.
And these men are not looking for a woman their age. They're not looking for a woman
You
55. They're
you
looking for a 25, a 30-year-old.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right, because that's the thing. It's like a lot of women think because they reach a certain age, they reach their pinnacle, and they start not taking care of themselves the way they're supposed to. I get what you're saying. Yes, a man, there's no age, there's no biological clock for a man. A
Exactly.
man can have a kid at 60, 70 years old.
90. At
Yeah,
90.
yeah, but at 90, you're gonna run after a
Well,
baby.
maybe
You're
not
gonna
me.
you're gonna
Maybe
change
not, but
diapers.
you can still get a woman pregnant. You still have sperm. You still be able to get a woman pregnant at
No,
90.
absolutely. My friend's father, he's 82 years old. He just had twins, but 2 years ago,
God
twins.
bless his soul. He's gonna
So,
be busy.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Statistically, yes, yeah, you're right. Women do have a biological clock, and men really don't, and some men have it, some men do have, and we don't know that. You know what I mean? Because just like erectile dysfunction is the same thing. It's
Mhm.
like if your clock is running out, you can't really do certain things, and that's it. You're done. And some men can get an erection at 90 years old. God bless them. You know what I mean? So you have to, everything has to balance out. At the end of the day, you have to say to yourself, at me being, let's say if I'm 60,
Mhm.
70 years old, do I need to deal with a 25-year-old woman that's gonna, you know, I'm probably sleeping and she's probably out there? No, I
Probably
don't
yes,
want to
of
deal with it.
course. He's
I don't want that
young.
headache. So yeah, it all depends on you, the man, and her, the woman. And you have some guys who think, some young guys, 30, 40 years old, they're going out with a 50, 60-year-old woman because they don't have the headache that comes with a young girl.
Well, yeah, I mean the drama, there's a
It's
lot of drama sometimes.
right. I
Unfortunately,
mean,
that comes
can
with.
you imagine you with that 20-year-old girl, you start paying for $1,000 for hair up until she's 50. You could buy a house. You can, can you imagine?
There's a lot of wasted money and things that are totally
Yeah. So,
vanity.
so you have to pick your battle, pretty much. You have to pick your
Now,
weapon, pick your
I
battle.
have a question for you. You did talk a little bit about marriage in your book.
Hmm.
And for some of my viewers, some of you out there who probably are married or divorced or have been married many times, I can tell you that it's not easy being married. I think being married is probably the hardest thing human can do. This is my own personal opinion. But if you look at what's going on right now, I know people out there who are saying, look, why should a man get married? Why would a man want to get married anyway? For what reason? What is it in it for men to be married? And when people make that argument or actually advance that, they have some pretty good, reason. They say, hey, listen, you get married, you bought a house, you have a couple of kids, you get divorced, the wife take the house, take the kids, you're fighting to see the kids, you can't see the kids, then you end up having to pay alimony and probably paying for the rest of her life or until she marries somebody else. What kind of person would want to do that, Raymond? Why
Well,
would you advise people to get married? Men to get married. I'm not saying women shouldn't. Women want to get married, God bless them. But why? Why should a man get married?
time has changed. Time has changed.
Okay.
Back then, when you look to get married, because that's the most beautiful thing you can do in life. That's the most beautiful thing that can ever happen to a man and a woman. That's the happiest moment in their lives because they got to do that. But you have to understand when you do that, it's a commitment for life. It's a commitment for life. Most people nowadays, this new generation, they don't have the attention span for 2 weeks, let alone for life. So if they date somebody for 2 weeks, that person doesn't do or be the way they want, they're willing to walk away and get into somebody else. Traditionally, when you marry back then, it's you trying to build. You trying to build with your woman. You making enough money. You tell wife, we're gonna buy a house. We're gonna have some kids. We're gonna live in this beautiful neighborhood with picket fence house, blah blah. Because that used to be a dream. That used to be what you do in life. That's you nowadays. Marriage is a business. Is how much money you have, so I can marry you, so that I can divorce you two
Wait,
years.
wait a second. Let's go back a little bit here. Let's go back.
Mhm.
You're putting your finger on something important. Hasn't marriage always been a business? I mean, it's people talk about love, but when I think of marriage, right, I think of two entities, men and women come together to they merge their life together to have a life together.
Mhm.
So, and traditionally, not necessarily now, I'm saying
Mhm.
as a matter of tradition, the man was always the one who brings the bacon home, who takes care of the family, and the women supposed to stay home and do all that. I mean, this was many, many years ago. So, for as long as the man is in a position to provide, then the man has a wife. But once that ability is gone for whatever reason, then the man no longer has a wife. So to me, there was always going to be kind of like a give and take. You have enough to take care of me, I'm your wife today. You don't have enough to take care of me, then maybe I'm somebody else's wife tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think the problem with that is I don't think I'm agreeing 100% with you. Yes, it's always been you what are you giving me? Yes, it's always been that. As a man, if back then my dad went to work, mom stayed home, take care of us. But do you know how much it is to take care of kids?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that there is no
No, no,
value to that work.
no. I'm
That
just
work
saying
is very valuable.
that's a much bigger work than going to work to bring home the bacon. But I want to touch on about what you just said. Back then, you would have a woman during the time of my mother. Women didn't leave their husband for stuff like that because he lost his job. It's always the man who's leaving because he cannot feel like he cannot take care of her anymore. So he leaves and whatever. But a
Mm.
woman always used to stick by the man, no matter what he does. Sometimes they have two, three wives.
Or they have like three concubines, somebody in
You
the
know,
south.
it,
I
you
mean,
know,
in our culture, that's somewhat acceptable
it's
in the
it's
Haitian
all
culture.
it's all about your culture. I don't think it's ever been this way here. I'll be honest with you. I always think over here it's always about business because ever since I can remember, I don't know when child support came about, but ever since child support came about, I think that's when marriage became a business here because that's
Hmm.
how people usually. There are men paying child support for Louis Vuitton bag to get hair done every week, okay, to go on splendid vacation in the Maldives and
Hmm.
all these things. So that's why it becomes a business because there's more. She's getting more in child support than she was getting being married, and that's why most guys nowadays they're not looking to marry because they're like, why should I marry? Because she's gonna take half of my stuff.
Well, yeah, but
So
I always wonder that. What, I mean, if my son come up to me and say, "Dad, I'm not getting married," I'll be like, "Good for you, son."
I'm not gonna tell
And
him
some
to.
people may disagree. I mean, and I'm not saying we're not saying that there is no value to being married. I think if you can find someone who see eye to eye, will understand that, because right now, no one want to be really. They don't want to be. No one want to suffer. No one want to sacrifice for anything.
Well,
Nobody
well,
wants to.
well, back then society used to look at the parent. If you have a child who's not married, that's mean you didn't do a good job as a parent. So back then, it used to be the father used to be proud to see her daughter walk down the aisle, and the mother used to be elated to see her child, her beautiful daughter, walking down the aisle in this white dress. But do you know, in some culture, it's frowned upon because it's almost like
Mhm,
you are giving your it's like you passing down your daughter to another man, and that is considered to be sex slave
mhm.
in some culture. So
Right.
you actually creating a daughter so you can pass it down. Because back in the days, what used to happen is if you are a man, you want to marry into this family, you have to pay to, you know, no matter where you were from, Africa, Haiti, here, you have to be able to come up with some ways. In Africa, if you have goat, cow, donkey, it doesn't matter. Bring it and pay. It's called a dowry.
Yeah, dowry, yeah. And
Yeah,
some culture, yes.
Dowry. So you pay a dowry to marry. In some culture, is the girl's parent who pays for this man to marry their daughter. So culture, it's wide open. But nowadays, I can't remember last time I saw somebody propose to somebody.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't
I,
seen that
I,
in a
I
long
can't
time.
remember the last time I saw that. So marriage is becoming less and less. So now it's like, can you find somebody that you can be compatible with and live with? So you become that's my partner.
But let me ask you this, because you did talk about this in the book. Uh, there is a difference between, and people seem to think that just because he wants to marry me, then he loves me. And I tell people that love and marriage has nothing to do with each other, especially in my understanding. Being married, it's a legal construct that says that I have a legal responsibility towards you, you have a legal responsibility toward me. It's a contract. If we want to break that contract, then we have to go to court to break that contract.
Right.
But I know so many people that I know who have been together for years, 20 years. They've been committed to each other. They've been there for each other to ups and downs. When life threw them a curveball, they've been there. I have friends of mine that have been in a long-term relationship, but they were never married. Not that they wouldn't want to get married, but whatever the situation is, they didn't get married.
Well,
But it looks to me that those relationships often seem to be more successful than.
because there's no pressure. There's no pressure on marriage. There's no pressure that if I live here, I have to go to court, and there's nothing that you have to split. So usually when that happens is this person have their own bank account and this
Mhm.
other person have their own bank account, and they are partners, they're living together, they put money together so they can live. Back then, I mean, not back then, in a marriage, everything is jointly, everything is one, it becomes one, you and that person become one. Your expenses and your leisure becomes, everything becomes one. So I say that to say this: when you are in some people are not married. They're living not separately, but they are partner in.
Mm.
And the minute they get married, a year later, they split.
Why is that?
There's there's
Right,
certain
I've seen that happen, but why is that?
there's certain pressure that the word marriage put on you. And not only that, soon you get married, a lot of people see it as it's a business. It's a legal document. It's me going into business with that person. And if we're not together, if we're not married, okay, I have my money, he has his money, but now he's making more money than me. We get married. Now it's time for me to leave because I didn't want to marry this man anyway. He proposed to me with a nice rock. I said yes. 2 years later, she bounced. She gets half of whatever he's got. It's one of those things. It's like if you find yourself a partner, I think the word is bond. It's a partner. You find a partner
Hmm.
and you have a bond together. It doesn't matter if you're married, if you're not married, as long you find that bondage with that person, there's a level of respect, there's love in there. What's really marriage? I mean, it's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong. It's every father's dream, every mother's dream to see the kids, their daughter getting married. It's a celebratory moment. It's a beautiful thing. Kids are happy and so on and so forth. But now it's less and less. Every day I see less marriage, every day.
Well, I don't blame people who don't want to get married, because obviously you see the statistic, at least 50% of people got married and then divorce, and if they don't divorce, they end up hating each other. And I've seen, I mean, I have seen so many people. I mean, I used to practice law in New York, as you recall, and I
Okay.
used to represent, people, and they hated each other. They just want to kill each other. And sometimes I said, wait a second, isn't that this woman you vowed to love 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You had this beautiful wedding. Look at all these videos. They hated each other. And I never understood why so much hate, especially when they have children. But how did this love turn into this raving hate? Like, I want you
Yes,
dead.
but there's so much money in it. There's so much money to be made when you're married. So much money. Listen, when I was getting married, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna go to a lavish place and do a big reception.
Hmm.
And you know what I did with the money? I was supposed to pay. I was supposed to pay the reception hall $35,000, DJ, kickman, this blah 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 blah. Everything was supposed to come up to like 55 something thousand dollars.
Hmm.
So what I did? Take that same money, put down on the property, and we got married in the house.
Hmm.
The, the house was not furnished. The whole reception happened in the house. Every room had a different section of families,
Hmm.
and we hired an interior decorator that came and decorate this whole house for us.
Hmm.
We were fine. You don't have to spend all that money. It's a lot of expense for something that's not guaranteed is gonna last.
Well, I mean, you listen. This is what I can say. Everyone have their own personal experiences. I know people that have been married for many, many years, many years, like 20, 30 years.
Right.
And I bow to them. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is amazing. To find a partner, somebody you can go through life with, to ups and downs, and that person can stand by you, and I got your back. That's great. But not everyone is lucky to find that particular person. So how do you know that this is the person that
But
I'm going
you,
to spend the rest of my life with? And this is a question for the women. How
but
do
you
you,
know,
because
Professor,
every woman wants to find a man that they say, this is my man, this is the man, this is the father of my child, who will be the father of my child, this is the guy that I'm going to go to the grave with.
but the thing about it is like you can find that person. Anybody can find that person. Problem is there a perfect marriage? No,
Of course not.
no, no. After a certain time, when you are in love, when you are married with somebody for 35, 40, 50 years, there's a different level of love that
Hmm.
comes with it. When you first get married, you go into this love. Oh, I can't live without this man. I can't live without this woman. It's lovey dovey. Once the kid comes in, it's a different type of love now. You start loving the kids as a whole. Like it's not, love for your wife anymore. It's love for the kids and the family. And after the kids,
Are done.
17, 18, it's a different type of love now. It's like you putting up with a lot of crap. You just said the hell with whatever this woman and this man is doing. It's like you just put up with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not because you love that person. It's because you're saying, "Eh, the heck, then thing is 65 years old. He can't go nowhere. I am not going anywhere." You start putting up with different things. Now it's a different type of love. It's a love like you loving that person, not because you like crazy in love, crazy madly in love. It's because where are you going? Where are we going? You start
You mean
putting
like, so in other words, what you're saying is people get married, they go through this different step of life where they have children, then
different
they
step of
raise their
life,
children.
different step of love.
Right. And they get to the point they kind of resign themselves to the situations. They kind of say, you know what, this is what I have. I don't know what I'm going to get. I might as well, I know what I have. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm going to keep what I have here. And I may not be totally happy with it, but this is it.
Well, yeah, you have to pick your battle. So it's to say, okay, I know I have this car. I know what problem this car has,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna keep that car because it's reliable enough for me. Now, if
Hmm.
you get rid of this car and take a newer car, the newer car may not be as reliable as the old car was, because you know the old car as much as you hated it, but you loved it because you know it inside out. But the new car, you don't know inside out. Everything is computer, everything is a chip. Something breaks, everything breaks. So you don't know. It's just like that. That analogy. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get. Why are you leaving this to go there? They're like the grass is never green on the other side. So
Well, they want to say the grass is greener. Now,
no,
you
I I
also,
say I say with that the grass is never greener on the other side.
the grass was never greener. We thought the grass was greener on the other side. But when we find out that the grass is not ever greener, there are two issues we want to talk about before we end the interview. Now, I know that in the book, we're going to talk about sex in
Mm-hmm.
the book. You have some sketch of sexual position for couple, for
Mm-hmm.
partners. We're going to talk about those positions, why you pick those particular positions. Pretty interesting. I'm looking at them now. We're going to take a 1 minute break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about cheating, which is a big thing because this was the title of the interview. So we will be right back, guys. Stay with me 1 minute.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
Welcome back. I am the professor, and the studio with me is the author of the book, Know Your World, Play Your Position in Your Relationship, Kerson Raymond, a friend of mine from high school. We're talking about his new book just published. And the book is in Amazon. Please do order the book. It's only $20. Guys, you should definitely read that book. There are some very good nuggets there. You're going to enjoy reading the book. The book is funny. It's full of good stuff. Now, here's the thing that I know all the women wants to talk about, because all week I've been talking to people about this upcoming interview, and there's been accusation left, right, and center. Now, here's the question, and was the title of the interview: who cheats more, men or women? You are the author, so tell me, who do you think cheat more?
Men cheat more.
Are you
Men,
serious?
men, yeah, men cheat more. The thing about it is like men cheat to fulfill needs, ego, to fulfill their prowess. It's
Mhm,
that's and women. Don't get me wrong. There are a big chunk of women that cheat as well.
mhm,
Nowadays, they don't really. The women nowadays, the young women I see, they cheat as much as men. They don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Women cheat with emotion. So a woman is will never cheat with somebody that they don't have an emotion connection with. So that's why most women don't like to cheat, because they know once they do it, there's a reason behind why they cheat. There's a reason
So
why.
are you saying that men cheat more because they're not doing it for emotional satisfaction as most women do, but they do it to satisfy a physical need, or maybe just to be able to conquer. They want this to sleep with this woman, and that's
Exactly.
what they do.
It's to show their prowess, to show territory, to show to fulfill a sexual need, their male attribute.
Hmm.
So in the book, I talk about men and women. I mean, I separate the men and the male.
Hmm.
So the man is the soul, the male is the spirit, just like a woman. The
Hmm.
man needs companion, the male needs sex at all time. He doesn't want nothing else but sex. That's why you're male. Your spirit as a male, and you can look at it from um in Animal Planet.
Hmm.
Okay, you can see it. You can see how many lions are chasing this one lioness. Okay, and how protective this lion is, no matter how old he is, of his lioness. And they the male part of us, the animal part of us, which is the male, needs nothing but sex. No companion, no issues, no emotion, nothing. And the female part is the same way. It just needs sex. It just needs, that's why we're born with that. The man is the soul. We need companion, we need, understanding, just like the women. We need, the female, the woman part is emotional, and she needs reassurance, she needs to be respected, all of that. So men do cheat a lot more than women, is because of the male instinct. Whereas the women need the sex as well, but because of respect, because of, name calling society, they tend to cheat less. But when they do it with emotion. If a woman cheat on you, that's mean she needed to have this man emotionally, not
Hmm.
because she just wanted him physically. Some women do want men physically as well. It happens. But when a woman step out of her relationship to cheat, she does it with emotion. You can be hurt as a man because you know that happened and she meant to do it, and she's calculated when she's doing it. She's not
Hmm.
gonna just run and do it. It takes a
Well,
lot of preparation.
so in other words, giving what you said, so it would seem to me, a logic will dictate that perhaps it's easier for women to forgive their men when they cheat, because they're not cheating with emotion, they're cheating to satisfy a physical need.
It's easier said than done, and that's where the word respect comes in.
Well, I mean, women, it's kind of hard for most men to know that their women are cheating, or sleeping with another man. And I've seen, devastating consequences in certain relationship where it's really, it's emotionally terrible for certain, for men to know that their women's, are cheating. But we
Yeah,
know
but
that when a woman get to that point, the relationship is technically over.
you would think, right? Yeah, but sometime it's not over, because she knows she's got it like that, and the most women know when and how to cheat. Men don't know when, and they don't know how to cheat. They just cheat. So it's
That's
the
why they
truth.
that's why they
I,
always get caught, right? That's why they always get caught, because we don't care. We just like, we're gonna do
they
it. But
they
women,
just
it's very, very hard to find out when a woman is cheating. Women are very, very good at
they
this.
they are
They
methodical.
they have mastered the art of cheating.
Yeah.
Men might be
So
cheating more, but women are the expert on it.
I yes, I do say it, when a woman give you a lie, the lie is engineered. When the men tell you a lie, it's fabricated.
Hmm.
So you have to engineer, like a light bulb has to be engineered first
Right.
before
Before
the
you can.
factory manufacture the light to see, okay, this is a light bulb, this is how it works. but the woman is the one that came up with all the diodes and all the different parts to make it. It's working. When a woman tell you a lie, that's what it is. It's engineered. When men tell you a lie, it's fabricated.
Well, that's
And
the reason why it's easier to uncover a lie when men tell lies than when women tell you lies, especially when they are cheating.
well, the thing about men too is like when the men tell you a lie, he just wanna give you the lie, and you should just forget about it.
Mhm.
And
Let's
two
not talk
weeks
about
later,
it.
2 weeks later, you tell him the same lie. He was like, I didn't do that. I never said that. Whereas when a woman tell you a lie, she talks about the lie every day. It becomes the truth. Whenever you, I'm brother, I am telling
I,
you,
I think you're right though, and I have experienced that. I think you're right.
it's out of sight, out of mind. So when a man tell you a lie, he just want to tell you the lie. Don't never bring that lie ever again because he wants to forget about it.
He
But
wants to
two
move
weeks
on.
later, yeah, 2 weeks later, you might say, "Oh, I thought you said that shirt. That the reason why it had this in there because blah blah blah." And you're like, "I never said that," because you forget about your own lie as a man because
Of
you want to
course.
tell a lie and keep it moving. The woman tells you the lie is like it's every day. She made reference to it until it becomes the truth for her and for you.
Mhm.
So
Now, let's talk about honesty and relationship. I know
mm,
that we're living in a new world right now. It's not 1982, 1985 when you and I were going to high school. This is a world where it's easier for people to cheat because of the internet. People have a whole emotional relationship with people they've never met, that they've sent money to them. They have this emotional, they've never had sex, they never met physically, but they develop this really emotional bond with that person. And because it's so easy to cheat, it's oh my god, it's amazingly easy to do it now than it was. So the question is, how do you deal with honesty in a relationship? How do you tell your mate, hey, I've done something that I shouldn't be doing? I mean, do you wish, is it better to talk about it, or is it better to say, look, I've done it, I'm never going to do it again, but I'm not going to talk about it? Or is it better to say, look, I have been living this double life, and I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to tell you the truth. I mean, you did mention that in your book, but is that always a good advice? That's always good to tell the truth?
listen, if you want to confess, if you want to come clean, I think it's the best thing for you to do is to come clean and says, listen, I've done this, because it's better you tell the truth than she finds out.
Well, she would always find out. That's not going to be a secret.
Right. So
And I tell people all the time.
better you tell the truth. Listen, and they always said what you don't know won't hurt you. I
Mhm,
get it. But if the person said, did you do it? Tell the truth. Because it's not like she doesn't know anymore. They already tell her you slept with this woman.
mhm,
And women to women, she knows because the other women is acting very vile towards her. So
mhm.
she knows something happened. And she confronts you and says, Professor, did you do it? I guarantee you she already know the answer.
Of course.
So you better come clean. I said, it's consequence. You're a big boy, you're a big man. You did something that you know that has consequences, and those are the consequences of doing that. So honesty always is the best policy. That's what they say, right? So
But
I
yeah.
think if you do something wrong, and if the person never finds out, you probably forgot too,
Mhm,
right? Down the road, you probably forgot. But if the person confronts you about it, tell the truth. And I think to go back into what I was saying earlier, I forgot to mention to do a point. It's like when men do it, men are macho. When men cheat, they're like macho. They're like a
right.
big
That's what men do.
right. When a woman does it, it's she's a
She's a
whore.
bitch. She's
You
a
know,
bitch. She's a
yeah,
whore. She's
she's a whore,
all kind of
and
name.
that's how society sees us as. And when you have a bad boy like Tiger Woods, Tiger was not a bad boy. He got
Right.
caught cheating with all these different women. And even though after they find out, he was still trying to keep that good image, that good boy image. You
Mhm.
don't do that. You get caught. Yeah, start naming names. There'll be less name that wants to come out against you because now they're gonna sell the stuff to tabloids, and they're gonna get money for it, and now your reputation is gone. Everybody, do you ever see Hugh Hefner in any sort of problem with tabloids? Because
No, you're right though, because Hugh Hefner always let people know what he does.
they know who he is, they're gonna leave him alone. But you, as a, you're the professor, you're very, good boy image, you never done anything wrong. Once something is said about you, you better come clean, man. I would make fun of myself and make sure the world know about what I did, than to have the tabloids every day. Front page, bang, 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 front page. The professor, one more woman come forward, one more woman come forward. I don't do that, because now you're gonna give the media, especially now the internet, like you just mentioned, the internet stuff to talk about you. Talking about the internet, yes, it is a lot easier now to cheat because of this technology that we have named internet. Sometimes some people may think putting a heart under a picture is not cheating. It is cheating. You're putting a heart under a picture of a woman with a big butt. That's a form of cheating. It's subconsciously it's cheating.
Is it really? Is it really though? Is it really cheating? In other words, if I see a nice picture of a voluptuous woman, and then I put a heart, oh man, I love that. This is beautiful. I always believe that cheating has to do with a lot of emotion. You have to.
You're talking more of like a physical. No, I think it's cheating is anything you do without the consent or without the knowledge of your partner. That's cheating. If you have
anything sexual or anything emotional,
it's in any form. Like if you, okay, let me give you an example of something totally different from that. If you have a PO box where you have, other people sending you stuff, it doesn't come to your house, it goes to your PO box. This girl sending you pictures, it goes to your PO box. Your wife don't know about the PO box. That's a form of cheating, even though if you have no form of physical contact with that person whatsoever. As long as you have something secretive away from your mate that your mate doesn't know about, your phone has a code on it, that's a form of cheating, because that person's supposed to know the code. They can go in and check whatever you're doing. So as we grow into, if we evolve into technology, the word cheating will have more meaning, because now we're evolving into a different, it's electronic cheating.
I like that. I never heard the term electronic cheating, but I think it makes sense. But even married people talk about privacy. Like it's my own private phone. You shouldn't.
If you start with, no, I agree with you 100%. If you grew up with that, if that's yours, that's how you. This is you. This is how I grew up. I grew up knowing like my phone has a code on it. Nobody goes in it, even if it's ringing right there. Nobody picks it up. If my wife has her phone next to me, it's ringing, I don't pick it up. I don't want to look at who's calling. I don't care. It's not like you don't care. You just don't want to open that can of worm, because once you open, you can't put back toothpaste back in the tube. Once you squeeze it out, it's out. You can't put back toothpaste back in the tube. Once you squeeze it out, it's out. So once you know about this, it's gonna, you might as well keep squeezing, because
that's it. Once it's out, it's out.
It's out.
So we're gonna take a 1 minute break, and we're gonna be right back. Now, when we come back, we're gonna talk about those sexual position in your book. Pretty interesting. So I'm sure people would want to know why you pick those positions. So we'll be right back, guys. So don't go anywhere.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you, ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.
welcome back. Thank you for joining the professor. Today, I'm speaking with my friend Kerson Raymond, who just published this new book, Know Your Role, Play Your Position in Your Relationship. So we've been talking for the better part of an hour. Now we are coming toward the end of the interview. Now, this is the best part, the sex part, the sex book. I have seen a couple of books about relationship, but in your book, you talk about especially if you've been married for a long time, how to have a better sexual relationship. And you've had some pretty interesting um, uh,
Illustration.
illustration.
Yeah.
And I think you've had probably about a dozen different positions. So let's talk about this. I mean, and I really want to talk about it not just from a clinical aspect of it, but
Mhm.
from really a human aspect, right? As people get older, both men and women, our sexual drive decreasing. It's just normal with aging that happen.
Mhm.
So the amount of sex that I want to have when I was 21, when I was even 32, is not the same type of sex I want to have when I'm 57. So it's just not gonna happen. It's not the same interest. So how do you keep that interest? And how do you still keep sex in a relationship, especially if you've been married 30 years?
I I wanna not to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, but it's a reverse of what you just said.
It is.
You actually can have you. I don't know about well, I don't know about you, but men in
Mhm.
general
Right.
can have sex 5 to 6 times a day, as long as is if as long as it's with a different woman. Listen,
True.
listen to me good.
True.
You can have sex 6 times a day as long as it's with a different woman because different women will excite you in a different ways. Your visual see something different, then you're good to go. The reason why I mention I have a sex section in the book because it's a guide to better relationship and better sex.
Mhm.
So a lot of guys think because they are well endowed or they're short, and sometime when you are with a petite woman
Mhm.
and you're a big guy or you're well endowed, I don't think it's the whole idea of sex is not how much pressure or how much pain you can cause that person. It's
Mhm.
how much pleasure you giving that person,
Right.
which that person is enjoying you. So
Right.
if you are 6 foot, 280 pound, and you're going out with a 5'5" girl about 125 pound, if you put all your weight on her in certain positions, she's not really enjoying you. She's
Mhm.
putting up with it, and she can't wait for you to be done because she can breathe. Sometimes that's why you see women, a lot of women pushing men away when they're on top
Mhm.
of. So there are certain position there that I put that guys who are, if that's you, six
Mhm.
feet 280 pound, and you're dating somebody smaller, there are position that you can take to let her enjoy you, not put not cause her pain for her not to enjoy the sexual activity. And the same thing goes with a short guy. There are certain positions a short guy shouldn't put his mate in because you should avoid position where her limb is touching something. Her limb is like, let's let's just be clear about everything. You can't be a short guy and trying to do back shot and you're on the floor and she's on the bed. It's not the
Right,
genitals
right,
are
right,
not
right,
match.
right. The
It's gonna get
position is not there.
uneven type of thing unless if you are on the bed, and then I
Mhm.
can see that. So this sex section is really to there are things in there that you can experiment yourself,
Mhm.
and they're not they're not for the weak hearted.
Right, right,
I
right.
would say so. So there are things in there you can actually. I think the good thing about a relationship is as long you keep the sex and the love juicy, I think you're gonna go a long way. The relationship is gonna go a long way. You have to create different things to bring excitement
Mhm.
into the bed, and that's one of the things that sometimes make a relationship go stale. Is if you are scheduling the days you're having sex, uh, I can't be a robot. I can't. schedule myself knowing every Friday. No, that's not me. It's very spontaneous. Whenever, wherever, let's go at it. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, if you have that kind of relationship, you have that kind of time, and you can be spontaneous. I've always believed that the best sex is the sex that wasn't planned, as opposed to, oh, let's plan this, let's plan that, because you're putting so much pressure on yourself
Exactly.
because there's so much thing going on, and it shouldn't have to be that way. It should be
Right.
something to enjoy. This is a great book. Thank you so much. I've read the entire book, and for my viewers, this book, it's about
85,
289 pages.
89
It's
pages.
really an easy read. I know that you would be arguing with the book as I was arguing with the book when I was reading it.
Oh, I have to tell your viewers. I have to tell your viewers too. So there are different people that think about sex different ways. Some think sex is just sex. Some think sex is an art. Some think sex is a tool. So it all depends on how you want to utilize sex. Buy the book. It's in there. Trust me. Leave comments. Leave questions on under this podcast, and I'll do my best to answer all the questions that comes about.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Kerson, I thank you so much for coming in today. This is the book, guys. If you haven't purchased it, there'll be a link on YouTube. There'll be a link on my channel where you can actually purchase the book. I think it's what, $20, right? The book is
Yes,
$20.
$19. So yeah, so it's on
Amazon.
Amazon and also on Barnes and Noble, just in
Yeah,
case.
Barnes and Noble and Amazon is where you will find the book. Know your role, play your position in your relationship. So this has been a great interview. Thank you so much, Kerson. Now, what's the next project? What is the next book is about? I know you're working on the next book.
Yeah, the next book is Sex, Energy, and Synergy. How when you have sex with somebody, I think I alluded to that
Right.
earlier.
Earlier.
When you have sex with somebody, the energy that you put in, what it does to you. If that person has bad energy, then yeah, the bad energy stays with you for a little bit, and how how sex interact with energy and makes you who you are.
That's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So when are you thinking of completing this and
Ooh,
publishing?
man, I've been writing. Now I don't only write but I also write film screenplays.
Right.
So therefore I'm in the middle of a lot right now. I just finished writing a book, not a book, a film
Mhm,
called Active Shooter. It's about
mhm.
school shootings in New York. I also wrote a story called 10 Beads, which is This My Jock. It's a story about a Haitian man with a voodoo power that he never knew existed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so it's beautiful stuff. They're
Oh,
all
beautiful.
coming out.
No, absolutely. Well, listen, whenever you have something new, please feel free to come back. This platform, you have an open invitation. It's been a lively discussion. It's been a while. So happy to see you, man. It's been a long time. So I should be in New York, hopefully in the next month or so. We should definitely
We'll
get
sit down.
together to
We'll
meet it.
sit down and have tea, sir. No problem. And
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for giving the time to talk about the book. And I want to thank your viewers, your subscribers. If you're not a subscriber yet, please click on that little button in the back down there and
Yes.
subscribe to the page. And let's have conversation like this all the time.
Oh, absolutely. This has been a great conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching The Professor. This has been a conversation with author Kerson Raymond with his new book, Know Your Role, Play Your Position in Your Relationship. This book is available in Amazon and also in Barnes and Noble. It's only $20, so please buy the book, read it, and let's have a conversation. Relationship is important, sex is important, life is important. I thank you so much. Kerson, thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you.
In Miami, the sun shines on us all. Sometimes, however, life brings unexpected storms. At Morris Legal, we understand that behind every case there's a story, a dream, a family's future. We pledge to stand by you in your time of need. We're not just attorneys. We're advocates for peace of mind. With expertise and empathy, we stand by you ensuring justice isn't just a concept, but a reality you can feel and trust. Morris Legal, more than just a law firm. We're a beacon in the storm to light the way to brighter days.